Yeah, I started recording.
Okay, thanks, Pawan. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I still not able to remember your names. It'll take me a day or two to completely remember your names and who is asking the questions. But anyways, yesterday what we have discussed is regarding this particular performance testing. What is performance testing and scope of the performance testing? One question that one of the person has asked is like we mentioned like there has to be a network component involved in order to do the performance testing in our scope. You can do the performance testing on any kind of application, but whatever that we are discussing as part of this course, for that you need to have network component involved. Okay, and the examples that I have given is like Notepad. Okay, so Microsoft folder, file explorer, things like this. The Microsoft Store, yes, there's a network component involved and you can very well do the performance testing for that. Zoom, yes, you have a network component involved. See, whatever that I'm talking, you are able to hear it through the internet itself only, right? So all this, you would definitely need this particular network component and you would actually be able to do the performance testing using this particular JMeter, LoadRunner or any other tools. Okay, but for whatever that is not involved into the network, like Notepad, WordPad, something like that, those things you would not be able to do the performance testing in our scope. You can our scope, we won't be able to do the performance testing. Okay, clear about that, guys? I'm sorry, who asked this question?
Venkat.
Venkat. Hey, Venkat. So is this clear to you, Venkat?
Yes.
Shyam, seems like your voice is breaking. Or you are not speaking.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Seems like your voice is breaking.
Is it still breaking?
It's
Now
clear.
It's audible.
Shyam's voice is clear for me.
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. Anybody who don't understand Telugu?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay, good. All right, I'll continue in English. And anyways, I'm more comfortable in English than other language. At least while training, not in the other things, but at least while training, I'm more comfortable in English. All right. So, so Venkat, is that clear to you? Any other questions you have, guys? All right, guys. So let's actually do a little recap of what we have discussed about this performance testing. The remaining things I'm assuming you guys have understood and you guys are able to take it forward. But for the performance testing, I'm trying to do a recap. So what is performance testing? It's a non-functional testing. What is functional testing? What is functional testing?
Basically, the functionality testing.
Manual testing. And what is manual testing? Like, in any application, let's say I'm actually opening YouTube. In any application, if I'm actually trying to test the functionality of the application, what should happen in the YouTube? I should be able to log in. If I, try to play something, if I try to play some, videos, I should be able to play the videos. I should be able to hear the sound. I should be able to see the video. All this information, all this particular functionalities have to be tested. That is what is the functional testing. Okay, but now, guys, if I'm actually taking non-functional testing, what do I mean by non-functional testing? I don't care about what that particular functions. Yes, I do care about those, but my main focus is not that particular functionality, not that particular, whether that particular image is coming up properly or not, whether this particular YouTube icon is coming up properly or not, whether I'm able to, when I log in, whether I'm able to actually see this or not. All this is not my focus. Okay, what is my focus area? When I actually try to access this particular youtube.com, or when I try to access the icsa.com website, okay, I should be able to access that particular website within very less time. Okay, within whatever is our SLA. I'm going to introduce a few new terms, guys. So I'm just writing it over here. Hopefully you all are able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So okay, so what is SLA? Service level agreement.
Service level.
Perfect. So according to the SLAs, like, when I access this particular homepage, there will be an SLA that would be given to me. All right. So this particular homepage has to show up within 3 seconds. Okay. So when I access through the internet, when I actually try to access this particular ICICI Bank homepage, it should be, it should show up within 3 seconds. And if it is crossing 3 seconds, if it is more than 3 seconds, then my SLA is broken. Okay, and that means this particular application is not performing well. Okay, so what we are trying to do is we are actually trying to understand, in the non-functional testing, as part of performance testing, this is only one type of non-functional testing as performance testing. There are a lot of other types of non-functional testings like accessibility testing, security testing, and all those. Let's not talk about this. Let's concentrate on the performance testing. Okay, now in this non-functional testing, in this particular performance testing, what we are trying to do, we are actually trying to concentrate on what is the response time. The major focus that we are actually trying to have is what is the kind of response time that we are going to get for each and every page of this particular application. Okay, probably not each and every page. We'll discuss what what kind of pages we would actually test, but for majority of the application, we would actually try to understand what is the kind of response times. Okay, is that clear?
Please respond, guys. Guys, so please respond. So we ask that, just to make sure that you are able to hear us.
Everybody should say yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair. Now, the second most important thing that we are actually trying to, on this application. Let's say I'm developer of this particular ICICIbank.com. Okay, now, I deploy this particular application on a server, and once I deploy this particular application on the server, I
Yes.
right. So guys, let's take a a little detour. Let's actually try to understand a little bit more. Now, in the previous session, or let's forget about the previous session, but we've been telling that for installing this particular load and all these things, right? Why are we asking all this?
For the best performance.
For the best performance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what would happen? Your applications would not respond so fast. I try to open load runner, it would take forever to respond. Okay, so what we are trying to do is we are trying to have a good kind of a desktop or laptop in order to install these applications and in order to work on these particular applications. Similarly, when you are actually taking servers, when you are actually deploying these particular applications on the servers, they would actually have completely different machines, guys. These are not like our laptops or our desktops. Those are called server class machines, the server class RAMs. Okay, the memory, the RAM that you actually have is different from whatever the RAM that you have on the servers. Okay, that's called a server class RAM, and that RAM would actually have much more power than what your normal RAM would have. All right, so what would happen is, those particular RAMs would be so powerful, would be so fast. When you are actually trying to access this particular application, it would actually serve you very, very fast. Okay, clear about that, guys?
Yes.
Good. Now, when one single user actually tries to access this, it is going to serve very, very fast. Now, when multiple users try to access this particular application, what would happen?
It may slow down.
It may slow down because one particular server on one small, one particular server with, it can only serve so much. It can only do so much work. Okay, any person, any machine, it can only do so much work. It might not actually be able to do more than that. All right. See, guys, even if you as a human being, you are actually trying to do some work. Okay, if you are if you are doing certain amount of work, it would be very, very easy. You can actually do it very easily. But if you are giving so much work, then you would really get stressed out, and at a point of time you might not even be able to complete the work, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so what you have to do is, and human beings, at least in this case, guys, human beings and machines are similar. Okay, they would only be able to do so much amount of work, and if you try to give more than that, till some point it might even though it might be stressed out, it might still do the work, but then at a point of time it would not be able to complete the task. Okay, it would really get stressed out and it would not be able to complete the task. Is that clear?
Yes.
So what we have to do is, we would actually have to ensure that we should understand what is the capacity of this particular service. What is the load that it could handle? How many users, how many transactions it would actually be able to handle on this server. Okay, clear about this, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Users, transactions. Now, guys, when I'm actually trying to talk about the load, there are two terms that I'm going to use. One is users and another one is transactions. Okay, one is users and another one is transactions. Why am I using two terms? Because when I talk about the users, see, for example, if I I access this particular ICICIbank.com, did I do anything after I access this?
No.
Nothing. I'm just sitting idle, isn't it? So like this, if all of you try to access this ICICIbank.com website, and if you just sit idle, will there be any load on the server?
Not really.
Not really, isn't it? So what you have to do is, in order to put the load on the server, you have to keep doing some transactions. What do I mean by transactions? I click on something. Okay, now when I click on login, it would actually take me to a different page. That is a transaction. Okay, or let's say I'm trying to go to this particular gift city. That is a transaction. Okay, I'm trying to do something on this particular server which actually sends a request to the server and which would force the server to actually send out a response. That is a transaction. Okay.
Yes, got it.
Yeah. So when you are actually trying to do this particular transactions, that is when the load would be there. Okay, so when we are talking about the load, we have to be careful. We have to understand that there are two components to this. Not only users, you also have to talk about the transactions. Okay. And guys,
Okay.
very, very experienced performance testers, they would not even consider about the users. They would always ask you the requirements in transactions. Okay. How many transactions per hour my application should be able to support? That is what would be the question. Okay. Clear
Okay.
about this, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
So again, going back, one of the important things that we are actually trying to understand is when we are doing the performance testing, we are trying to understand the response times. And this response times, when do we have to find out? When there is load on the server. Okay, when there is load on the server, then we would have to find out the response times of these transactions. Okay, so that way you would actually be able to understand what is the performance of this particular application. Clear, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Now, what else is there during this performance testing? Yes, guys, you would also have to find out what is the server performance. As I was telling guys, all these applications like iccibank.com or any other applications, google.com, hdfcbank.com or konacard.com, your web tours, anything, they would be installed on some servers, right? This is one machine. Whatever that you're seeing on the screen, this is my machine. Okay. Now, when I access iccibank.com, what would happen?
The page will open, right?
A page would open. But how would the page open? See, this is my browser. All right. This is my browser. So what would happen when I actually try to, in the browser URL, this is the
It's hit to the
URL bar.
server.
Yes, this is the URL bar. So in this URL bar, when I actually put in some, ICICI Bank, whatever the kind of URL that I put in over here, and when I actually send the request, what would happen?
We will get the response.
You would get the response. Great. But before you get the response, what are all the things that would happen? This particular browser, it would this particular browser, what would happen? It would actually send a request to something called as DNS server. This is the browser. Let's just say this is the browser, and this is the
Server.
DNS server. Okay, what is DNS?
So domain naming system.
Domain naming server. Okay, domain naming server. All right, so it would actually send out a request to the DNS. Okay, and what would DNS do? The DNS would actually respond with the IP address of that particular server. Okay, so when I say icicibank.com, okay, when I just say icicibank.com, sorry, this is in the normal readable format. But then, would the browser be able to understand where it has to send this particular request?
No, it has to IP address.
Exactly. Like, if you want to contact MGM training, Pawan or me, where would you go?
No,
Or would the mobile understand what Shyam is?
no.
No. What you have to do is you would have to queue a number to that. Is it easy for you to remember all the numbers?
No, not that easy.
ICICIbank.com, what would happen is this particular ICICIbank.com, there would be an address associated with this particular ICICIbank.com. Okay, and the DNS would actually give you the address what this particular ICICIbank.com is there. Okay, so if I want to find out the address, how do I find the address? Ping ICICIbank.com. Okay, see, this is the address 20.204.105.107. This is called as IP address. This is called as IP address. Guys, are you able to understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is anybody who is not able to understand, please feel free to speak up, guys. Okay, do not hesitate. Don't think that the others are understanding, I'm not understanding, or anything like that. Okay, no question is stupid question. Please do ask. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the IP address. Clear?
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah. So now once it gets this particular IP address, now the browser knows where to send this particular request. Okay, and what it would do, it would actually start sending out the request. And how does it send out the request? How does it send out the request? It would actually send the, once this particular DNS is, it gets the response from the DNS, what would happen? It would actually send it out to this ISP, and through the ISP, it would actually, sorry. This is all internet. Okay, this is all internet. And through the internet, what would happen? It would actually, try to, contact this particular ICICI Bank server. Okay, and it would actually go there. Okay. Okay, it would actually go into the ICICI Bank server. Okay, so, but would it be able to send a direct request to this particular ICICI Bank server? Once I get this particular IP address, I know that, there is this particular IP address. This is the IP address of the ICICIbank.com. But would I be able to directly send out a request to this particular address?
No.
No.
It might not really be possible, like, to directly go there, right? So what I have to do is I would actually have to go through multiple routers, switches and all in order to access this particular IP. Okay, so if I want to find out how my request is actually going to ICICIbank.com, I can actually use this particular trace route. Okay, ICICIbank.com, and what would happen? It is actually telling me what are the different hops on how it is actually going to this particular ICICIbank.com. See, it is actually trying to access my local router, and then it is actually connecting to the DNS, and then from DNS it is actually going into from the ISP, it is actually going to different hops. Okay, if I understand it right, the ICICIbank.com server is located in Mumbai, right? So in order for my request to go to Mumbai, there are so many hops that it is actually going through. Okay, clear about it, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say I want to reach to Mumbai, then probably I would have to take a cab from here to either railway station or the airport. Then I would have to board the train or flight. Then I have to go to the then I would go to Mumbai. Then I have to take another cab to the from the airport or railway station to the ICICI Bank. Then from the bank I have to take an elevator to the appropriate floor. Then in that particular floor I would have to walk until whatever the wherever the server room is there. Then I would need access to that particular server room. Then I would actually go to that particular server, right? There are so
Yes.
many
Yeah.
steps to do anything. Okay, I cannot directly, have my to what what their IP addresses are and what exactly it is there. Okay, there are ways to find out, but that completely comes into security testing. We'll not go into that, but there are so many hops that it would take in order to go to this particular iccibank.com website. Okay,
Right. Okay.
clear about this, guys?
Yes, understood.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So this is how you would actually go and reach the ICICI Bank website. Okay. Now, guys, through internet, if I'm actually trying to access this particular icicibank.com website, what would happen? I would have to go through so many hops. Okay. So, what would happen is when you are doing the performance testing, we would discuss this more in detail afterwards, but I'm just giving you an intro. When you are doing performance testing, there are two ways of doing the performance testing. One is through the internet and another one is through the LAN network. Okay, what is LAN?
Local area network.
Local area network. Okay, LAN is local area network. What is local area network? This is internet, guys. So when there is internet, what would happen? You would actually jump into all this particular different servers, like you're actually going into the internet, big unknown world. Okay, but then what is LAN? This is a local area network. This is inside your office there would be a network that would be created internally for you to communicate. Okay, is that clear?
Yes.
Internally for you to communicate, there would be an internal network that would be created, and that is LAN. Okay, so lot of performance testing, guys, would happen inside the LAN. Okay, why inside the LAN? Why not in the internet? Because, guys, now let's say this particular server is actually very slow. Okay, it is not allowing the traffic very fast. Okay, so what would happen? All my requests would actually, since they have to go through this particular server, all my requests might actually start getting slower. Okay, of course, guys, when something is getting slower, obviously internet would actually route you through the other routes. But then let's just say that some of the traffic has to go through this. So what would happen? Whatever the traffic has to go through this, what would happen? It would become very slow, right? It would become very slow, and your response times would increase. But then, guys, would you be able to control this particular server? Something is slow on this, so can I go and fix this particular server? This is out there in the internet, guys. I don't have control over this, isn't it?
Yes. You don't
Yes.
have control.
I have absolutely no control over this particular server. So I won't be able to fix this particular server, and I won't be able to make it fast. So what would happen is, even though my response times are high, it would not give me an absolute proper picture of what exactly is going on. Okay, in order to get the absolute proper picture of what exactly is going on, what I would do is I would actually try to test it on the LAN network. Okay, I would try to test it on the, instead of internet, what I would do, I would actually try to test it on the LAN. Okay, let's just say that this is a local area network that is created inside your office in order to for you guys to communicate. So from the browser, when you actually access the icicibank.com website or any other website that you're trying to test, you are actually you're inside the LAN. So what would happen? Your LAN is something that you can control. Your machine is something that you can control. Your servers are something that you can control. So you would actually get the understanding of what exactly is going to happen internally. You would have absolutely all the control. Whatever that you can tune in order to make this particular application faster, you can actually do that. Okay, is that clear? So these are the two different types of performance testing. One is through the LAN and another one is through the internet. Okay.
Okay.
Clear about it, guys? Most of the performance testing in the real time would happen inside the LAN network. There are a few cases wherein they would actually try to access it through the internet in order to understand what would happen when the real-time network comes into picture. Okay, but then the most important thing, the most important type of performance testing would actually happen inside the LAN. Clear about it, guys?
Yes, it's clear.
That depends upon your role. Okay, that depends upon your role. We'll actually talk about it more. We'll actually talk about what are the different roles that you would actually have, and what is the kind of servers, what are the different kinds of job responsibilities that you have when you are actually talking about different roles. We'll talk about that, but we'll table it for a little later. Okay, I'll talk about it today only, but I'll talk about it a little later. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Just don't want to lose the flow. Any other questions, guys?
Hello.
Yeah. Go on.
Sir, you said LAN and it is the internet, right?
Yes.
For LAN is a collection of device. Yeah, I heard Pawan sir. Such as it is a building, office, home. We will connect that. That is LAN.
Exactly.
Internet only, right? But you are saying internet is a different way.
LAN is internet of internal devices. Okay, inside the office or inside the home or some internal network. Internet, what I mean to say by internet is, it is once you go out of that particular LAN, once you actually land up in the open network. Okay, inside your office and out on the road. That's what I mean to say.
In home also we are fixing the cable. That is also LAN only, right?
In the home also we are fetching what?
In home we are fixing that cable, data cable. That
Yes, that is LAN.
That is also LAN, right?
Yes, that
what
is also
difference
LAN.
between internet and LAN?
Shyam, open network means you are saying that indirectly routers, Wi-Fi routers, right?
Not Wi-Fi routers. Once you actually cross that particular Wi-Fi routers, once you see what would happen. Okay. This is your home network. Okay. This is your home network, or your office network, whatever. Right. There are so many devices that are there in your home network. All right. Now, if you are actually trying to access inside the network, if you are actually trying to access something inside the network, that is LAN. Okay, but then is the ICICI Bank website, or why do I call ICICI Bank always? Let me get on to some other application. Tell me some other application, guys. Or let's say Micro Focus website. Okay, if I try to access the Micro Focus website, is this there inside your home network?
Yes.
No.
No.
This is inside home, right? Yeah, this is inside home.
In the server somewhere in the US. The Micro Focus website is there somewhere in the US.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, in order to access this particular Micro Focus website, what would you do? You would actually try to connect to the ISP.
Yes.
What is ISP?
Indian Standard Protocol. Maybe.
Internet
Service provider.
Service Provider. Okay, so you would actually contact the ISP. Now, when you have a valid connection with the ISP, what would happen? The ISP would allow you to actually send this particular request to the DNS server inside the ISP, wherein you would actually get the address of this particular Micro Focus website. And once you get that particular response, then what you would do is you would actually send this particular request through different hops. You know, there are several routers, several switches, and all those things, several hops, and it would actually go through several hops, and finally it would actually reach to the Micro Focus website. Okay, now what I'm telling you is this is LAN. Okay, and this is internet. Okay, clear about this, guys?
Yes.
Do you still have any confusion?
Hops are nothing but like a different DNS servers.
Not exactly DNS. The hops are it would go through routers and all, different routers.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what we got completely deviated. So what we would do is we would actually do the performance testing either through the internet or through the LAN network. Okay, most of the performance testing would actually happen in the LAN, but some of the performance testing they would actually want to do it in the internet so that they would actually understand what exactly happens. Okay. Server performance. What do you mean by server performance? The whole reason why I got into this is because this particular application, this is not, coming out of the air. Okay, when you are actually trying to access any application, ICICI Bank, Micro Focus, HDFC Bank, Bank of America, or any kind of application that you are trying to access, this is not coming out of the air. Okay, what has to happen? There has to be a server on which the code has to be deployed in order to serve this particular response for all of these requests. Okay, clear, guys? Yes, guys.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so that particular server also we have to ensure that whatever the server on which this particular application is deployed, that server should be healthy. It should be while it is actually giving out all these responses, while it is actually under the test. While it is actually under the test, we call it as AUT. What is AUT? Application under test. Okay, so why this particular application under test, the server on which this particular application is there, that server has to be healthy enough. Okay, what do I mean by healthy? What are the different components or what are the different metrics that you would actually calculate in the server? Or let me rephrase, let me put it use the proper words. What are the different metrics that you would monitor on the server?
With the speed, the RAM,
Response
net
time.
connection.
See, response time is something that you are actually, whatever is the time that you are, whatever the time within which you are actually able to get the response, right? But on the server, as someone was saying, the CPU,
Yes.
the memory,
Right.
the
Processor.
disk.
Yeah.
Okay, the process, how much processor is being used, how much memory is being used, how much disk is being used, all this particular information you would actually want to see it on the server. Okay, there are a lot of other metrics that are there, but I'm just giving you a few examples. Okay, so why do we care about that?
Because that's where we get the speed and the scalability, the performance from that server, right?
Exactly. That's where, you know, the server is the one which is actually responding to all your requests. Okay. Now, if the server is getting real let's just say, for an example, guys, you have a maid. Okay, you have a maid in your house. Now you are asking her to do some work. Okay, him or her, you are asking them to do some work. They would do that, no problem. You are giving them more work. Okay, they will try to take that particular road. Now, if you are pounding them with work, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that, what would happen? At one point of time, they would stop caring. They would, they would slow down. They would say, okay, साहब ऐसे ही बोलेगा, हम लोग will do it very slowly. Don't care, right?
Yeah, putting so
And
much of
after,
pressure.
yes, and after a point of time, what would they say? You know what? I don't need this job, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. So what you have to ensure that your server is not overloaded. Otherwise, the server would say, I don't need this job, crash, right? A maid might actually leave the job and he might actually run away, but then the server can't run away, right? Poor thing, it would stay with you, but it would crash, isn't it? So what you have to do is you would actually have to ensure that the server is not overloaded. So while you are doing this particular performance testing, you would also have to monitor the server in order to ensure that the server is not overloaded. Okay?
Yes.
Is that clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, guys, when you see that your response times are high, when you see that the server is getting overloaded, it might not always mean that you would actually have to get more capacity. You would actually have to get more capacity server and all those things. Okay, it most of the times it means that you're doing something in a very inefficient manner. Okay, you might actually do that more efficiently, and that way you would actually be you might be able to save a lot of resources on the server. Okay, clear about it, guys?
Yes.
So a lot of times we see, right, like when somebody is working, they might not actually work in a very efficient way. They might actually be doing the same thing again and again and again and again, right? What you have to do is, if you are able to do the same work in an efficient way, then you might actually see that you would actually get much more performance, much more work done within lesser time, much more performance, much more faster responses, right? Clear about it, guys?
Yes.
So what you have to do is you would have to monitor this particular server performance, and if you see that the server is getting overloaded or anything like that, you would actually have to ensure that you would either increase the efficiency of your code or your server or whatever, or you would have to increase the server capacity, right?
Yeah.
So that is what the performance testing is all about, guys. Clear?
Yes.
Any questions? Sometimes, guys, what would happen is, the server performance might actually be okay, not too bad. Okay, you would see that the CPU is taking 80% of the CPU, 90% of the RAM and all, but then it is able to sustain the load. Whatever the number of users, number of transactions that you are sending, it is still able to sustain the load. Does that mean that the server is okay? Might not really be. There is a little more pressure on the server, and there are little more users or a little more number of that is the ideal case scenario. All right, guys?
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody has any questions?
Do we have to be thorough with the server architecture of the server to know in and out?
Yes. Now let's talk about what are the different roles of the performance testing. Performance roles of performance. Let me call it as engineers. Okay. What are the different roles of performance engineers? First one is performance testing, performance engineer. Okay. Architect and so on. Okay. Now, what is performance testing? What is performance testing? Yes, guys? Just
I mean,
testing this particular application.
right.
Just testing this particular application with whatever the tool that you have, load runner, JMeter, Silk Performer, WebLoad, whatever the tool that you have, you're just testing this particular application. You are you're actually trying to get the response times, throughput, hits per second, all this particular information. Guys, if there are some terms that I'm using that I have not discussed already, then I would discuss them. Don't worry about it. Okay. So you're monitoring this particular response times and all these things, and you are just reporting to the stakeholders, clients. That's all that you are doing in the performance testing. You don't care. Okay. Test it, report it, done. Okay.
Okay.
Clear about it, guys? Now,
Yes.
what is performance engineer? Performance engineer or performance architect, what they would do, they would actually also have the understanding of what is the architecture behind, what is the server architecture, what are the different kinds of servers that are involved. They would actually try to understand, okay, these are all the different servers that are involved, and this is the server on which you have this particular code, and when you are actually testing, they would actually try to monitor all these servers. They would actually try to understand which particular server is creating a bottleneck. Okay, which particular server is the cause of this particular higher response times. Okay, and how do we tune that particular server? How do we tune that particular architecture in order to ensure that you actually get a better performance? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, who would have the access to all these servers?
Maybe
Performance tester might not really have access to all the servers. Okay, but a performance engineer or a performance architect would actually have access to all the servers, and they would have to understand what this particular server architecture is, how the code is being deployed, how the code would work, and all that particular information the performance engineer or architect would need to have an understanding of. Okay, now what are we trying to get trained on? We are trying to get trained on mainly we are trying to get trained on performance testing, right? And we would also have a very good introduction on what a performance engineer would do. Okay, a very good introduction. All right, but guys, is it sufficient to get a job? they want to learn, yes, there is also market for the performance engineers and performance architects, which would actually enhance your career, which would actually give you more dollars, more rupees. Okay, but then guys, what would happen is in the role of this particular performance engineer or performance architect, what would happen is the developers would double as the performance engineers or performance architects. And even if there is a separate role of performance engineer or performance architect, just like me or Pawan, that that we are working as, what would most of the times what would happen is we would actually have some developers who are also helping us, and we are helping them. Okay, is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so people who don't completely understand this server architecture and all, don't worry, you're still good. You still have a lot of opportunities. You're not missing out on anything. Okay, but if you have more enthusiasm, then also with whatever the introduction that we give, on top of that, build on top of that, and you would definitely get a little more rupees, a little more dollars. Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
clear about this, guys?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, any questions until now?
No.
All right, guys. Pawan, are you still there with us?
Yeah. Yeah, Shyam, tell me.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we continue a little bit more, or shall we take it up tomorrow?
We will continue tomorrow.
We'll continue tomorrow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm passing the